It's Wednesday, it's hump day, it's Thanksgiving Eve, it's Florida State Hate Week, whatever you want to call it. It's also the day where we talk about some potential depth chart changes for your Florida Gators here on Locked On Gators.
You are Locked On Gators, your daily podcast on the Florida Gators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Locked On Gators, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day. We are available daily and free wherever you listen to podcasts. Happy Wednesday. I'm Brandon Olsen. Find me on Twitter at WNS_Brandon. Find all my written work with Whole Nine Sports, Giants Country, NFL 33. Today's episode of Locked On Gators is brought to you by Prize Picks. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnCollege. Use code LockedOnCollege for a first deposit match up to $100. Remember that Prize Picks is daily fantasy sports made easy. And when we're talking about the depth chart, there's a couple of changes that I'd like to make, and it's nothing crazy. I'm not going, change this on the offensive line, because the health status for a lot of guys is up in the air. Is Austin Barber going to be back? Is Damian George going to be good to go? Is Kingsley Eguakin going to be good to play actually? Or is Jake Slaughter just a full-time starter? Because Kingsley was listed as starter last week and Jake Slaughter got the start. I know that Kingsley Eguakin posted a Florida Victorious picture and Richie Leonard has a cast on his hand. I've been told he's been dealing with that for weeks, so that shouldn't change his status for this weekend's game. So, yeah, not too much about the offensive line just because there's so many question marks right now. I do have two changes that I would like to make. One as a starter and one for a depth chart as literally second string change. First off, the starter, Bryce Thornton should be one of the starting safeties this weekend against Florida State over Miguel Mitchell. Specifically over Miguel Mitchell. I don't want to make this a thing where I know that there's a lot of Florida Gators fans who are like, oh, I hate Miguel Mitchell, for whatever reason it might be. I don't care about that because it's not a thing where I'm like, oh, Miguel Mitchell is going to be terrible forever. He's a sophomore. I'm not going to make that assumption right now. Bryce Thornton has a higher floor in this game, I believe. Like they both got solid ceilings, but I feel like at this point in the season, I feel like I can trust Bryce Thornton more. I think that he was coming on strong, and then in recent weeks, I feel like he's kind of tapered off in terms of his snap count. I'm not totally sure why. I get it. He hasn't been perfect, but I feel like when you look at what Bryce Thornton did, I mean, like it was like he barely played the first few weeks. It was like snaps here and there. Vanderbilt game, I think he played very well. Arkansas game, I think he played very well. I think he struggled a lot against LSU. I think that game is bad for the entire secondary. It wasn't just a Bryce Thornton thing. And then against Missouri, I thought Bryce Thornton played well. Like there's no reason in my mind for Bryce Thornton to not be your starting safety opposite Jordan Castell. There's just not. I trust Bryce Thornton more than I trust Miguel Mitchell. And especially when you look at this Florida State matchup, this is something where you're going to have two dogs at receiver, assuming Keon Coleman and Johnny Wilson are there. Two dogs at receiver there. You got Jaheim Bell at tight end, where Jaheim Bell, he's not a huge player. He's a tight end / running back. Like he's not someone who he's not Johnny Wilson's size. He's 6'3", 239. Bryce Thornton's going to be outmatched there size-wise. Jordan Castell won't be. So hopefully we could see Jordan Castell come down into the box more. And when they play cover one, hopefully it'll be Jordan Castell on Jaheim Bell and Bryce Thornton as the deep man there. But for me, Bryce Thornton's just the better of the two options when you look at Miguel Mitchell. And again, I'm not saying that Miguel Mitchell is terrible. I'm not saying that Bryce Thornton is amazing. I just think that Bryce Thornton is more reliable, has a higher floor right now. I think long-term, he probably has a higher ceiling as well, but we're not talking long-term. We're talking a snap-by-snap basis. And I'm not just pointing out I think Luther Burden caught that ball running the crosser, and Miguel Mitchell just pow, and just he hit sticked him. He just brushed off like nothing. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about more of a play-to-play basis, not just the big play. Play-to-play basis, I think Bryce Thornton thrives there. And I think Bryce Thornton, even if you want to keep Jordan Castell as the deep man, I think Bryce Thornton really excels when he's kind of coming downhill. So when you have the two safeties out there and it's Bryce Thornton and it's Jordan Castell, Jordan Castell is your deep man there. He's your guy that's going to work deep as a cover one. He's going to be your deep man over top. When you play cover three, he's going to be your center fielder. Bryce Thornton usually has been closer to the line of scrimmage. Again, I think for this game, you should flip that. I also understand that might not be as realistic. But again, Bryce Thornton's your guy. It's as simple as that. I liked him coming out of high school. I think that he's transitioned well. I think he's translated well. I think that he's honestly kind of exceeded expectations because I didn't expect him to play much at all this year. And again, he's not been a world beater. That's not what he's been doing, but he's played the 10th most snaps on the team. I didn't even realize that. Bryce Thornton has played the 10th most snaps on the team. And again, he barely played in the first few weeks. He didn't play against Utah at all. Like he barely played the first few weeks. So that is actually kind of bonkers to me. But yeah, I think that when you look at who should be starting safety, it's Bryce Thornton. And then on the offensive side of the ball, I have a depth change that I would like to make, which isn't someone specifically coming out of the rotation. It's Aiden Mizell going into the rotation. I don't care what the change is on second string. Just think you got to put Aiden Mizell in a position to succeed out wide. And by that, I mean, I spoke about this yesterday. I've spoken about this every time I've talked about Max Brown. I've said he likes to throw the ball deep. Chicks dig the long ball, right? So Max Brown is looking for that's not why he's looking for the long ball, but he likes to throw the long ball. Okay. You have to put him in the best position to succeed. So when you look at what you have at receiver, Caleb Douglas it's safe to assume he's not playing this season. I mean, we were told 4 to 6 weeks after the Kentucky game. It's been 7 or 8. I think it's safe to say, and he's been listed as straight up out, not even questionable. So I think it's safe to say Caleb Douglas is done for the year. But you look at what Aiden Mizell brings to the table. I get it. I also don't think that he's a refined route runner. I don't think he's a go up and get it receiver. I think he's fast as hell. And by that, I mean, I know he's fast as hell. So, I look at what Max Brown brings to the table and I go, okay, he looks to throw the ball deep. It's not just that he can. He likes to do it. He did it a lot in high school. He threw that one ball to Khalil Jackson, which was an amazing catch, an okay throw. It was an amazing catch. But that was an aggressive throw. Like that was a throw that I don't think Graham Mertz would have attempted. It was an aggressive throw. It was crazy. And I think that we'll see Max Brown make those kinds of throws. So therefore, Aiden Mizell, let him just get him on the field and let him run a post route right through the middle and just cause havoc. We saw him try it against Kentucky, and Graham Mertz underthrew the long ball. But we saw Aiden Mizell try it, and he had a step. He had a step on the corner and the safety, and the ball was just underthrown. You're doing Max Brown a disservice if you do not put the speed demon on the field for him. Okay? Like, you got to try to win this game. Absolutely. However, if you don't win this game and you don't get one of the academic spots for bowl eligibility, guess what? That was it. That was your only chance to evaluate Max Brown. So yes, you have to try to win this game, but also you're looking at Max Brown against a good defense and against not your practice defense that he gets to practice against all the time. And you're looking at him playing against a potential college football playoff team. And so you see that and you go, okay, this is our chance to evaluate him because next year, maybe Graham Mertz comes back. Maybe he doesn't. Whether he does or doesn't, I'm assuming Billy Napier is going to do what Billy Napier does and is going to say, we're going to have a quarterback competition. Whoever gives us the best chance to win is going to start. I'm expecting that from Billy Napier next year, no matter who it is. So, whether it's Lagway, Graham Mertz, Max Brown, I don't care, but this game against Florida State is your true chance to evaluate what Max Brown can bring to the table and what an offense can look like with Max Brown at quarterback when he's had time to actually practice with them. Not much time, but time. So, yes, you have to give Max Brown the best chance to succeed playing this game. Okay? Simple as that. Speaking of Max Brown, we are about to be joined by Hayden Hansen, who is Max Brown's roommate last season, and his starting tight end this week against Florida State. Before we're joined by Hayden, let me tell you guys about Prize Picks, because Prize Picks has been the best way for me to make money playing daily fantasy sports this year. If you've got skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few easy taps and research. It's simple and easy to play with quick withdrawals too. It's what makes Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. So thank you this past weekend to Samaje Perine. I will always thank you because, oh my goodness, the catches were so free there. It was incredible. Thank you very much to Christian McCaffrey for scoring again. I appreciate that. Saquon Barkley, your longest rush of the day. Thank you. I appreciate that. And Wan'Dale Robinson for that block. Thank you. Go to prizepicks.com/lockedoncollege. Use code LockedOnCollege for a first deposit match up to $100. Remember that Prize Picks is daily fantasy sports made easy. Joining me now for Locked On Gators is Hayden Hansen, Florida Gators starting tight end. He's here every Wednesday. He's on the field with Florida Gators every Saturday, except for the first game of the season because it was Thursday, but we don't talk about that anymore. But Hayden, I mean, just the hell of a football game. Like, there's no other way to say it. Saturday was just a ridiculous game. It was awesome. Girlfriend was gone, so I had the house to myself. I was screaming like a maniac just in the living room by myself. It was fun. But walk me through it where you guys go into the game as 12-point underdogs on the road against number 9, get into an absolute dogfight. Graham Mertz gets hurt with one of the, I mean, he's immortalized now in Florida football. Like, that play was incredible. Max fumbles the handoff. They respond with a 77-yard touchdown on the first play. Then you guys go right back out there. You take the lead with less than 2 minutes left, and then lose it on a last 10-second field goal. Just what the hell must that have been like as a player?
Yeah, emotional roller coaster. Hell of an emotional roller coaster, man. That was the first game. I was devastated. We fought back. You know, we never quit fighting. I mean, we all fight for Napier. We'll fight to the death for that dude. So it was no doubt in our minds we were going to go back and get the lead. There was a lot of things we could have done the final drive, including myself, to fix and take a little more time off the clock. I know we ran out of bounds on the third down, which we could have made him use our last time out. I missed the block. There were a couple other miscues in the backfield before that. So, I mean, there's a little stuff we could have done as an offense to help out even more. But at the end of the day, we put ourselves in the best position possible, and then they just had a hell of a comeback the last drive. I mean, I guess it happens.
Yeah, that 3rd and 12, I think it was, where Trevor ran out of bounds. My heart damn near stopped because it looked like Max was going to fumble that. Like, it looked like they were going to have another fumbled exchange there. So my heart was just ready to explode there. But on that drive, there's a specific play we'll talk about where 2nd down, looks like read option to the wide side there. You get pushed back a bit. Trevor trips up on your feet and then falls there. Were you just not anticipating him to rush in like that? Was he supposed to be the unblocked edge there? Just what happened on that play?
Yeah, so going back and watching the film, he definitely knew what was coming. We ran that play a lot after Graham got hurt, and I was beating him on it. I was crossing his face. I was cutting out the C gap. It was perfect. And so what happened was he tightened up really tight, almost touching the tackle. And I cheated down my splits too to get enough. And when the ball snapped, he already had leverage. I tried to get my head across. Then all of a sudden he kind of long arms me, and almost like he transitioned to pass rush. And I was not expecting that. And once he kind of threw that long arm into me, I had already lost the leverage battle. So, I mean, that just goes back to him being a good player. He'll play on Sundays. I had a lot of wins against him that game, but he got me in a crucial moment, and that's something I can learn from as a young player. But, yeah, there's things that happen before the play where I'll notice next time. So just got to keep learning.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of those times where it's like, yeah, you lost a rep, but like you could at least chalk it up to he's going to be in the NFL, except at a Senior Bowl invite the very next day. So I feel like that one, like, you can't even. It sucks, but I feel like you got to go. All right, like, yeah, he's a Sunday player. I'm fine with losing that rep.
Yeah. I mean, I'm never fine with losing a rep, but I know that I won a lot of reps against him in that game, so I'm not as hard on myself because I know I'll fix it. But yeah, losing a rep to anyone, it always sucks. So
Yeah, and I mean, just blocking against him led to the move Hayden to O-line tweets, which is probably the biggest movement in Gators Twitter right now. Where like you gotta, how does it feel knowing that no matter what the responsibilities are, you went out there against Missouri, had a 38-yard catch, and still it's a Hayden should play offensive line.
I guess I just can't be good at two things, man. I guess I need to let some guys beat me in pass pro for once. I don't know. I've been perfect all year, so maybe I should slip up a little bit. They'll be like, you know what? Never mind. Leave my side.
Maybe he doesn't have it actually. Maybe they'll just let him run routes more. But I mean, speaking of that, just 24, 25 yarder against LSU, 38 against Missouri. Does that mean that based on your trajectory, is this the week that we see the Hayden Hansen 40 or dare I say 50-yard gain?
Fingers crossed, man. We definitely got some shots in, so we'll see what happens.
I'll say the 38-yarder, I was watching you like just run. I was like, he's just got a head of steam right now, which I was like, I just want to see what happens. I was just like, because I remember there's even the plays in your high school film where like you catch a screen out. Well, there's one play that always pops out where you catch a screen like out wide completely and you just bowl over people. And I was like, that's all I could think of. It's just like in open field, that was the only thing running through my head there.
In this league, man, they go low. It's so hard for me to drop my shoulder. I mean, the guy that tackled me on that play like grabbed my big toe. I almost broke out of it. You can see like I broke free, but I was in the air. You pulled it back again, and I just lost it. But yeah, I was. That's probably the biggest adjustment is they're so much quicker in this league, and they go so low, and like they grab one piece of your leg and they're holding on to that ankle. So that's definitely a transition I've had to make because in high school, they go low, they don't go that low, so I can get my shoulder on them. In this league, they're zoom right into your leg. So
yeah, I mean, even that high school play though, so it's literally just you just like bowling people over, and then yeah, it was a little reminiscent of that. But like, how's that been for you lately? Because we started off the year with you getting and we've joked about it on the show and everything, where you start off the game with a catch or two, and then it kind of just doesn't continue to go on. But in recent weeks, I feel like volume hasn't totally increased for you in terms of targets, but I feel like you're being put in different situations compared to earlier in the year. Like now, back-to-back weeks where you had against LSU backed up against your own end zone, you had the little, I guess, leak route that you had there, and then this past week you had that big gain and catch and run opportunities is what's happened for you. Just how's that really evolved to become that?
Yeah, I mean, I just consistency. I think they see it now because I'm such a factor in the run game. I feel like defenses focus on me run blocking first, and then they transition. But by that time, sometimes it's too late. Obviously, you saw it against the LSU. Like it really screws up the defensive backs because they're thinking it's a run, so they bite down. They take their eyes off me for 1 second. I release. I'm gone. That's kind of the magic I like with 12 with Arlos on the field because they don't know what's going to happen. So. I mean, it's kind of cool. Just that kind of motivates me in the run game. I'm like, okay, if I dominate these run reps, they're going to be like, okay, they're like, when Arliss goes in and I come out, they're thinking pass, and when I go in, they're thinking run. So that also helps. It's just a creativity of the offense. So
These days, every new potential hire can feel like a high stakes wager for your small business, and you want to be 100% certain that you have access to the best qualified candidates available. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the right people for your team faster and for free. Add your job to the purple hashtag hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile. Spread the word that you are indeed hiring with simple tools like screening questions. It makes it easier for you to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience. Billy Napier looking for offensive coordinator or offensive line coach or whatever else you might be changing, wide receiver coach. Pretty sure Billy Gonzalez is on a 1-year contract, so why not that? So you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and higher. And it's why small businesses and probably SEC schools rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates that you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. Yeah, and then, I mean, the big story, of course, from this game was Graham Mertz getting injured, not going to play against Florida State, and it's exactly how we all expected. Last season, you and Max Brown didn't play at all, and then now you're both starting against the Florida State Seminoles, and just what's that been like? Because again, both of you guys were last year redshirting, didn't play. I'd imagine you practiced a bit together, and then now you guys last game of the season, bowl eligibility on the line against undefeated rival, both in the starting lineup.
Yeah, I mean that's my whole roommate. I'm very proud of him. He stepped in, did everything he could to win that game against Mizzou. That loss was definitely not his fault. He played battle like a warrior, and I'm excited to see what he brings to the table. I know he's been waiting for this opportunity, so I'm excited to see him shine and show off what he's capable of doing.
Yeah, I do have to say that I think like I was a fan of Max coming out of high school. It's like, okay, big arm, he's mobile, all that fun stuff. But I think for me, the thing that really stood out was like he went into the Missouri game just insanely confident. Like my nerves were destroyed, and he just went in there. First play, they have the naked. He hits Ricky Pearsall. They run all the option. He had that long run, which one of the funniest things I've seen of just the second he got into open space, he just two hands on the ball, which you love to see. It's just
your coaching point right there. So.
Yeah, it's just funny watching him do it. Like the moment he hits open space. But afterward, there were two runs. There was that one where he gets up and he's just clearly juiced. And there was another one where he runs out of bounds. I think it was on a third down, maybe. And he runs out of bounds, picks up the first down. And he does like the little Anthony Richardson used to do it when he ran for first downs, a little note and then point. So just the confidence there was just insane for me. Just in a guy playing his first meaningful snaps ever.
Yeah, he's if you know Max personally, you know it's a very confident individual. So he never lacks confidence, which is good for him. You know, he's been through adversity. Obviously, I mean everyone wants to start, so he's kept that confidence all through his backup role this year. And you ask him all the time, and he'll be like, "I'm the best player in college football." And, you know, it's like you got to have that edge, and you can tell he has that edge. So I'm excited to see him go out there and play this Saturday.
I have the scenario right now of just like you and Max, just like, I don't know what it is. You guys just love the first down point. And so I'm just ready for it to happen this weekend where that's all I'm looking forward to. It's just like who else was your roommate then? I remember it was Savaianaya was a roommate back then. What Arliss, was he one or no?
No, he was over all the time. It was me, Andrew Savaianaya, Trey Smack, Max Brown, and Shamar.
Okay, all right, that's a confident ass room there. That's all I'll say for that. But at the end of the third quarter, from the broadcast side of things, where I was just like watching on TV, you guys run with Montrell, camera cuts to Napier, he's thrown up the forward, a signal to just let the clock run, go in the fourth quarter. Then it cuts to Max, and you walk up to Max, pat him on the helmet or shoulder pad, whatever it was. What was it that you said to him? Because it looked like you went over him specifically to say something to him.
Yeah, I mean, I went over there. It was kind of a cool moment between us. I went over there. I just told him, I was like, "Hey, I want you to know I believe in 17, man." And that was kind of what I kept telling him throughout the game. So that was the first thing I told him. I was like, "I believe in 17." And after every drive, like when he messed up, after that fumble, I was like, "Hey, I believe in 17, man." You know, and that was the big point at our team meeting after the game. I think it was Monday. Napier was just like, "We need to rally around Max, believe in Max, bring up our level for Max." You know, so. We got his back. Whatever happened, you know, we're supporting him. That guy's going to give his all for us, and we're going to give his all for him.
How different was it playing with Max compared to Graham? Because I feel like when Graham went out and Max came in, I feel like every single play, it looked like you were turning around to look at him. And I feel like you do that frequently, but it felt like you did it every single play. Was that just trying to get the call differently? Were you communicating to him? Was he communicating to you? What was going on?
Yeah, I'll answer it as much as I can say. But, I mean, it's just different quarterback, different style. So I'm just making sure what he's telling me is right. And he can always change something. So.
And then I know that just obviously Max Brown is a very athletic individual, plays baseball, plays football there. How different is that, or how does your assignment or your responsibility change there where compared to Graham and Max? Because with Max, if he's extending a play longer, you got to work in pass pro longer. If you're running a route, or you just in hell, like, are you just like, oh, do I try to get open or do I try to block? Like how does your assignment change there?
Yeah, I mean, that's always something, the plays will definitely be longer sometimes due to his legs, his dual threat ability. So when you're running the route, you never know when the play's over. If you don't get the ball and he gets out the pocket, you got to get open for him. Obviously everyone can see differences between him and Graham. Max probably looks to run a little more than Graham. It's just two different quarterbacks, So we're going to play around him how he feels comfortable, and we're going to go beat FSU. So
yeah, hopefully. What's preparation been like for that game? Because now, I mean, both teams are down there starting quarterbacks, and what's going into the season, Florida and Florida State Twitter were just constantly arguing about who would be better, Jordan Travis or Graham Mertz. And now neither of them are playing in the last game of the season after they both had very strong years. So just what's preparation been like where it's like the defense has to throw a bunch of their plan, not out the window, but they got to change it because they've been looking for Jordan Travis. And then you guys now, I mean, different quarterback changes everything for the offense.
Yeah, I mean, the big point is no excuses for either side, Two, we got both. Everyone else is healthy for the most part on both sides of the ball. We got two backup quarterbacks. So we're going to see who can put together the best plan, who practiced the most, who put the best plan around their quarterback, and we're going to see who comes out on top.
Yeah, I have to say, now that I think about it, give Graham my apologies. It's my fault he got hurt, because I remember when Jordan Travis got hurt, I turned to my girlfriend and I was just like, damn, now if Florida wins, they have the excuse. And so, karma just had to be like, no, they don't, and take that one away from them. But Coach Napier mentioned that because of Thanksgiving, practice schedule is a little bit different. Is it just like less time, starting later, finishing later? Just how's prep changed at all from that?
No, it's the same time. Not the same time we started at, but the same time in general, like of practice and stuff. Nothing's cut short. But like Thursday, I think classes are canceled because Thanksgiving, so everything's pushed up a couple hours to get out of there sooner. But time-wise, we're there at the same time, just a little bit different, a little bit pushed back or move forward.
Yeah, and then I know that Coach Napier also mentioned that for Thanksgiving, or if you have any plans for it, because he mentioned players that don't have family local can go to their position coach's house. So are you headed to Coach Callaway's? Are you guys doing something at your, I know Scott's there. I don't know who else is with you, if it's just you two, or is the Hansen family coming to Gainesville?
Yeah, so they're actually going to Texas Tech to see my sister. She got hurt, so she hasn't been playing. So they've been coming to my games, not hers. So they're going to go spend some time with her. And the tight ends are going to Dante Zander's house. Him and his fiance are going to cook us some dinner. We're going to go eat with him. So that'll be fun. It'll be a little Thanksgiving for us.
Yeah, and there you go. And thank you so much, Hayden. Catch Hayden every week on Locked On Gators and every Saturday with your Florida Gators for one more Saturday at least with your Florida Gators. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day. We are available daily and free wherever you listen to the podcast. We'll be back tomorrow to continue Florida State Hate Week. It's going to be Thanksgiving. We will be here. And guess what? We will be here Black Friday as well. We will be here Saturday after, hopefully, the Florida Gators beat the Florida State Seminoles. For Locked On Gators, I'm Brandon Olsen. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at WNS_Brandon. Find all my written work with Whole Nine Sports, Giants Country, NFL 33. And I will see you all tomorrow.